right, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining this webinar today. My name is Brandon Kamel. I'm Field Marketing Manager here at Kofax, and you have joined the Don't Eat Alone webinar series. This is an RPA introduction, and we're doing this webinar in collaboration with Tromba Technologies. Again, thanks for joining, and we just appreciate the time that you're taking to be with us here on this webinar. A couple housekeeping items before we get going. There's a Q&A box that you can type your questions in at any point throughout the webinar. So if you have questions, go ahead and type those in, and we will be getting back to you live. There'll be someone's on the back end here answering questions. And so, yeah, feel free to just ask any questions as you go along. And then the other thing is we have poll questions. There's going to be 4 poll questions throughout this webinar. So when we hit the poll question, just feel free to submit your answer, and then it'll show the results right after that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Chris Whitwright, and he will be doing the presenting here from Tromba Technologies. And so thank you so much for joining us, Chris, and yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Brandon. My name is Chris Whitwright, and I work with Tromba Technologies. Just for a little bit of background on Tromba Technologies, we've been in business for 20 years with customers not only in the United States, but Canada as well. Our solutions include intelligent capture, business process management, enterprise repositories, integration with ERPs, custom line of business applications and databases, intelligent automated workflows, and expert data and document conversion solutions. So our offerings are designed to help organizations maximize document automation by transforming manual processes into digital business process management solutions. So in this webinar, we are going to talk through the concepts of RPA, CDA, and IA. We are going to walk through downloading your 90-day free trial. We're also going to create our first robot together, and finally, we're going to walk through some use cases and hopefully generate some ideas about how we can apply automation to current business opportunities. Before we get into all of that, we're going to have our first poll question, and we kind of want to gather some information about how familiar you are with RPA. So, and the options are not familiar, somewhat familiar, familiar, or very familiar. So, you guys can take an opportunity just to answer that question really quickly. Before we get started, talking through Kofax automation, I wanted to kind of talk through some key phrases. Robot process automation is automated processes that allow robots to do repetitive tasks while allowing your business professionals the ability to focus on customer-driven initiatives. When we're talking about cognitive document automation, that's automation that centers around modernizing slow, manual, and error-prone processes related to processing data and documents. And then intelligent automations, which is IA, includes the accumulation of all automation in order to streamline and update manual and repetitive processes. And when we're talking about Kofax automation, we want to start with how data and documents drive this process. Acquiring documents comes in a variety of different avenues and a variety of different formats. Those avenues can include scanning paper documents, monitoring email boxes, periodic data files, and even mobile devices. So CDA and RPA work in concert to acquire that information. It is important to understand that a document is never just data, nor is it just documents. It is always an assortment of both. So, for instance, we all use Excel files on our daily basis. So depending on your business needs, you may need that spreadsheet as a document, or you may just need some of the data that happens to be on the document. So after you acquire that information, it's important to understand what that information is. Kofax automation uses AI-based technologies to process and understand the information that it acquires. Everything from image perfection, classifying of documents, extracting information from the documents, evaluating those results, and handling any exceptions can be done internally by Kofax. And once we understand what that data and documents are, we can integrate with exterior systems using out-of-the-box connectors and RPA technology. Anything from ERPs to databases and ECM solutions can be used to push and pull data as your business needs require. The second important note on this slide is that Kofax is not industry specific, nor is it department specific. You can use this from anything from banking to insurance to higher education and healthcare. You can use it to do any kind of innovative and effective solutions that may require a business need. So any kind of manual user-intensive process has the potential for an automated solution. So again, talking through some of the benefits of cognitive capture, we want to combine all the automation technology that comes together as cognitive capture. The benefits include customer engagement by comprehensively capturing documents and data from any channel or any application source. RPA and CDA working together to automate document classification and extraction together. Document capture for business users that reduces configuration and maintenance complexity. Cloud-based capture that allows less IT dependency and faster time to value. And AI contextual document understanding that allows for less configuration and more automation over time. So we're going to go to our second poll question. And we want to know what kind of documents would you like to automate, whether it's mortgages or invoices or utility bills, applications, claim forms, other, or if you just don't know, that's fine too. We just want to know the information. All right. So to start your free trial of Kofax RPA, you're going to download today at kofax.com products/RPA/overview. And what's going to happen is you're going to register for an email, and you're going to download the zip file that's in that email. You're going to start the installation using the setup.exe file. And then Kofax will email you any required trial license information that you may need. We highly encourage that you guys take a screenshot of this slide so you guys always have that information available to you. So you can always find additional resources as well on the kofax.com Learn videos. There's also, in that tutorial, there's also a tutorial about installing and building your first robot as well. There's also free Kofax training at learn.kofax.com. All right, now we're going to jump into our first robot, and I'm going to take you through kind of what it takes to build a robot and all that good stuff. It's very important to know that this can all be done without any kind of code knowledge or any kind of user specialty knowledge. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the manual process, and this manual process will show you kind of what the business robot is actually going to do itself. So the first thing we're going to do, it's a budget rent-a-car use case, and the reason for rent-a-cars is we want to kind of show you the use case for comparative pricing. So I'm going to take you through kind of a manual process in order to grab some information, put it on a spreadsheet, and then what we're going to do is we're going to show you the robot doing that as well. So the first thing we do, we're going to open up our spreadsheet, and we're going to type in budget rent-a-car. And then what's going to happen is we're going to go to budget.com. I already have the website pulled up. So we're going to enter in our pickup location. Since I'm in Denver, Colorado, I'm going to use the Denver International Airport as my pickup. We're not going to change too much here because I just want to rent a car for a day, for instance. So we're going to select my car. We're going to wait for the vehicles to pop up. This is all the website kind of interacting. We're going to select, I want to rent an actual truck because maybe I'm moving something. So we're going to take a truck and go back to my spreadsheet. I'm going to type down some information. So we're going to do a mid-size pickup. I want the price, which is $25. And then maybe I want some more information about the vehicle. So I want to know that it's 17 miles per gallon, and I want to know that it's an automatic transmission. And I also want to know how many bags it can carry. Okay. So those are the things that we want to know. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a robot that's going to do this exact same process that's going to do it in less than a minute. So you can see my robot is here. And don't worry, we're actually going to build this exact same robot in this webinar as well. So if you don't catch it the first time, it'll be just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this robot. And like I said before, it's really important to know that this robot building doesn't require any kind of specialty knowledge in order to do it. And it's very user-friendly. So, and we'll illustrate that a little bit more when we are actually building our own robot. This robot takes less than a minute to run, and it's going to extract the exact same values that I did on that manual spreadsheet. Now, the good news about this is it's also, while this is running, I can be doing something else that actually provides business to the, or value to the business, rather than typing in, looking at the information I need, extracting that information that I need, and putting it in a spreadsheet. It's doing all those things automatically. And we're going to write this file to a file directory. So, less than a minute, it's done. So, and there's my budget rent-a-car spreadsheet. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to build the exact same robot. So we go to our design studio, and we're going to add our type first. And what a type is it's just a list of parameters that your robot cares about and can interact with. So, and in this robot, what we're going to do is we're only going to care about a couple different variables. So we'll say we care about car type, and we care about price. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new web automation robot. And it's going to ask us for our starting website. Okay. And you can see it built our load page node first. So what I'm going to do is we are first going to open up our variables. So we need to add the variables to the robot so it can interact with it. So we're going to do extraction. And we are going to do an Excel spreadsheet because we need an Excel spreadsheet in order to write to it. And what we're going to do is the first step that we're going to do is we're going to open our web or spreadsheet. We're going to insert a step after, and we're going to open a variable. So we're going to open Excel. And then once we do our load page, you can see that it actually opened the Excel page, which is, again, really user-friendly, so you can actually see the robot in action as you're building it. So I'm going to insert an action step after it, so I can see that it loads the page. So we're going to, what it's doing is it's executing the exact same steps that you would do in a regular robot. So it's going to the website right now. So you see the budget website right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter in our location. And since I'm in Denver, again, it's going to be Denver. And it automatically creates that step for you. So it's executing it as you would execute it if you were on the website itself. We're going to click on Denver International Airport because that's important. We're going to select my car. And this should look very familiar because this is exactly the same steps that we used when we manually did this process. So it's just replicating everything that its user is doing. So now we're going to select our type of vehicle. Right, we're going to select a truck. And once this pops up, we're going to start extracting our values, the things that we actually care about. So we care about the car type, so we're going to extract into a variable. Car type. And then we're going to extract into a price. So, and really those are the only two variables we care about at this point, which is fine. You can add as many variables as you want to, but we're going to just do two for right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this. We're going to set the Excel as the current window because we want to start interacting with the Excel window. And then we're going to set content. And you can set content as a constant, or you can set it from a variable. I'll show you that here in 2 seconds. So you also have many formatting options. And we're going to set the content. We're going to set the car type. And we're just going to generally format that. And then we're going to set the content. And we're going to set the price. And we're going to format it in a $sign so it makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. And there's our spreadsheet. And then the last step we want to do is we'll write this to a file. So we're going to write it to a file. And we have to give it a file name, and it needs to be the full file name in order for this to write correctly. So we're going to say trial website, and then we're going to put our variable in there of our Excel. So after that, save it, and then we're going to go to debug mode, and we're going to run it. So again, this should take less than a minute, and it actually allows the user to say, I want to run this, and then I want to go do something else. So I don't have to sit there and do the manual process of getting a website, getting the price, getting the car type. And the wonderful thing about this is that you can start selecting multiple websites and looping through them to complete your comparative analysis on price. So the other thing that we need to, again, and like I said, you just saw that this doesn't take any kind of specialty knowledge. It basically allowed me to look at the website, extract the information that I wanted, and complete what we needed to complete. So, and there's our one that we just did. So. So now that we built our first robot, we're going to talk about some use cases that this robot can solve. So for this, the use cases, again, we started a competitive pricing one and a monitoring one. It can be used for migrating data. It's a very repetitive process that RPA can make easier. There's also employee onboarding and logistics that it can take time off. If you get a new employee, you need a computer, you need a space for them, et cetera, that can all be done via RPA and setting up those tasks. And given the current circumstances, more and more people are working from home. So it can be used to organize daily task lists from either a Jira ticketing system or to organize your daily meeting schedule. It can also be used to send reminders for weekly updates from team members. So I highly encourage you guys to visit the website listed below. And if you need to take a screenshot, please feel free to do so. Because that website will break it down many, many more use cases and allow you to have it broken down by industry. And with that, we're going to move on to our next poll question. And we kind of want to know when you guys want to start an automated process or a document project. If you guys are looking to if you guys can think of a project that you want to do immediately, within the next couple months, within the next 6 months, or within the next year, or if you don't know, that's quite all right too. And the last poll question that we have for you is we kind of want to get some demographics on what industry you guys work in. So whether it's banking, the financial services, or insurance, higher education, manufacturing, any healthcare industries, logistics, the government, any third-party processors, or if you don't see your answer on there, it's the other one. So. Okay. And with that, that brings the webinar to kind of a close. We are going to do an on-demand Q&A, and Tromba is going to be compiling and answering those questions. There's an on-demand link that will be sent on April 17th. That will be a video where we've answered all the questions. More technical questions, if you guys have questions about how do I install it, or you're having trouble with your robot, please feel free to download the trial and start playing with that trial yourself. So you can submit questions to us by April 15th, so we can compile it and kind of get that video out to everybody, so everybody can see it and have it on demand as they need it. So, lastly, the next webinar from Tromba and Kofax will be on April 24th. So watch for that email and invite a friend if you wish. The topic will be using RPA to extract data off a PDF. And with that, thank you so much for your time, Brandon. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you again, everyone, for joining. And like Chris mentioned, we're going to be compiling questions and doing an on-demand Q&A session that we'll send out to the audience here. So expect that in your email next week, and don't forget to submit your questions. And then we'll also send out invites for the next session that Chris just mentioned. So thanks again, and have a good rest of your day. That concludes this webinar.